Look at your screen right now. I'm looking at mine. And what we are seeing, for the very first time in what feels like a lifetime of waiting, is something profoundly simple yet absolutely earth-shattering. A live, genuine, officially sourced foreign exchange rate for the Iraqi dinar, displayed not on a speculative forum or a guru's flashy graphic, but on a legitimate financial data terminal, ticking away in real time. And if you're hearing this, your heart might have just skipped a beat because you've been conditioned by years of RV Tomorrow videos to believe this single data point is the starter's pistol for life-changing wealth. I need you to pause that thought right there. Breathe. What you are seeing is real, but it is categorically, definitively, and undeniably not a revaluation in the way you've been promised in those late-night YouTube sessions. Let's break this down with cold, hard, unemotional data because the truth is far more interesting and ultimately more important for your financial safety than any fantasy. That live rate you see, let's say it's 1,310 Iraqi dinar to $1, is the Central Bank of Iraq's official daily auction rate. It has been published every business day, for years, on their official website, the Central Bank of Iraq's electronic platform. This is not new. The live aspect might be new on a particular app or website you're using, but the data source is the same. The Central Bank of Iraq holds a daily currency auction where it supplies US dollars to licensed Iraqi banks to finance imports and satisfy legitimate local demand. The weighted average of the exchange rates from those transactions becomes the official daily rate. This is a meticulously governed monetary policy tool, not a signal of an imminent global currency reset. Think of it this way, seeing the temperature displayed on a digital sign doesn't mean a massive climate shift is happening at that second, it's just a precise measurement of the current environment. And the current environment in Iraq's Forex market is one of controlled stability, managed by the central bank to prevent inflationary spirals and maintain some semblance of economic order. The critical point, the one every serious investor must sear into their mind, is the chasm between the official CBI rate and the street rate. Walk into a currency exchange in Baghdad or Erbil, and you will not get 1,310 IQD for your dollar. You will get closer to 1,450, or even 1,500 on a bad day. That difference, that spread, is the real story. It represents a multitude of factors: banking sector inefficiency, local demand for physical cash, economic uncertainty, and the cost and risk of moving physical currency. This spread is where the real, tangible Forex market for the dinar exists for everyday Iraqis and businesses. So, when you see a headline screaming, "Live dinar rates now displayed," understand the monumental context. It is a sign of increasing financial transparency and the digitization of global data feeds, not a prelude to your dinar notes suddenly being worth thousands of dollars each. This live data is a powerful tool, but for analysis, not for celebration. It allows economists to track the central bank's interventions, it helps Iraqi businesses hedge their import costs, and it gives the international community a clearer view of Iraq's monetary policy effectiveness. For you, the holder of physical currency, its primary utility should be as a benchmark against the fantasy rates peddled online. If a guru claims a bank in the US is exchanging at $3.47 per dinar, you can now instantly check the official, live source and see the undeniable truth: it's still at 0.00076 cents. This factual anchor is your greatest defense against hope-driven investment decisions. The opening of exchange windows across the nation, as mentioned in sensational titles, refers to this everyday, operational reality within Iraq: licensed banks and Forex dealers conducting business at market-driven rates to facilitate trade and remittances. It does not, and I repeat, does not, mean a chain of new international bureaus has sprung up in your hometown ready to exchange your dinars at a mythical new value. The nation in that context is Iraq. This distinction is not semantic, it is the fundamental line separating reality from a very costly fiction. The engagement with this real data is the first, most crucial step in evolving from a rumor chaser into an informed observer of a complex, fascinating, and challenging emerging economy. Now, let's pivot sharply to the Vietnamese Dong, because if the dinar narrative is a decade-old epic, the Dong story is its equally complex sequel, playing out in a nation on a radically different economic trajectory. You might see Live VND rates flashing next to the IQD, and the immediate, tempting assumption is to lump them together as two tickets in the same speculative lottery. This is a critical error. Vietnam is not Iraq. Its economic story, its relationship with its currency, and the fundamental reasons people speculate on it are worlds apart, and understanding this divergence is the key to seeing the whole picture. The State Bank of Vietnam, unlike the Central Bank of Iraq, is not primarily focused on currency auction mechanisms to supply a war-torn economy with hard currency for imports. Instead, its mandate is one of controlled stability to fuel an export-led economic juggernaut. The dong is not a currency some hope will miraculously revalue upward against the dollar. In fact, for years, the quiet pressure has often been in the opposite direction, a gradual, managed devaluation to keep Vietnamese exports like textiles, electronics, and footwear competitively priced in global markets. The live rate you see for the VND, say 23,450 dong to $1, reflects this delicate balancing act. The SBV maintains a tight trading band around a daily reference rate, and they actively intervene in the market, buying or selling dollars to prevent excessive volatility. This is the sign of a central bank with formidable foreign exchange reserves, exceeding $100 billion, which it uses as a tool to steer its economy. So, why the speculation? The narrative often ties to Vietnam's historical currency reforms, the lingering memory of the 2003 dong, and a persistent, misunderstood hope that the government will revalue the currency by lopping off zeros to simplify transactions and project strength, much as Turkey did with the lira or Germany did after World War II. However, financial analysts and institutions like the IMF have consistently reported that while such a redenomination is periodically discussed within Vietnamese policy circles, it is considered a logistical and psychological undertaking with massive costs and risks. It is not a wealth creation event for foreign currency holders, it is a purely administrative reset. If they were to drop 3 zeros, 10,000 old dong would become 10 new dong, and your purchasing power relative to goods within Vietnam would remain exactly the same. The foreign exchange value would adjust proportionally. The real, data-driven story of the dong is not about a sudden spike, but about its remarkable stability given the global headwinds. While other emerging market currencies have swooned, the VND has been a relative rock, depreciating slowly and predictably under the SBD's guidance. This stability is a feature, not a bug, and it's what has attracted legitimate foreign direct investment in the billions, not speculative hot money waiting for a redenomination. For a Vietnamese business owner in Ho Chi Minh City, the live rate is a crucial tool for pricing next season's garment orders for European retailers. For a Korean electronics firm building a factory in Haiphong, it's a key variable in their 10-year investment plan. The exchange windows open across the nation for the dong signifies the deep, liquid, and formalized banking system Vietnam has built, where currency exchange is a routine service for tourism, trade, and remittances from its vast diaspora. This operational normalcy is the antithesis of a secretive global reset. The parallel to draw here is not between the dinar and the dong as assets, but between the narratives that surround them. Both are fueled by a potent mix of historical context, genuine economic complexity, and the human desire for a simple, life-altering solution. The live data feeds now available pierce through both narratives with the same blinding light of transparency. They show two distinct currencies, managed by two distinct central banks, for two distinct national purposes. One, the IQD, is a tool for basic monetary survival and rebuilding, with a vast gap between official and street value telling a story of internal distress. The other, the VND, is a tool for global economic integration, managed with a firm hand to maintain competitive advantage. Watching them side by side on a live screen is a masterclass in comparative economics, but only if you mute the background noise of the guru's fears. The truth is, the most significant revaluation happening with these currencies is not on any Forex ticker, it's the revaluation of accessible information. The fact that you can see these rates in real time represents a democratization of data that, if used wisely, can empower you to make decisions based on the actual pulse of two economies, rather than the echo of their online mythologies. So, we stand at this unique crossroads, armed with more real-time data than ever before, yet simultaneously bombarded by a tsunami of manufactured hype that preys on the very hope that data could finally validate a long-held dream. This is the core conflict of the modern currency investor in exotic notes. The live rates are the ultimate reality check, a sobering, unblinking digital heartbeat of two economies, and your most powerful tool is to learn how to interpret what that heartbeat is truly saying, not what you wish it would scream. Let's talk about the ecosystem that thrives on the disconnect. The YouTube channels, the Telegram groups, the secretive forums, they operate on a cyclical economy of anticipation. A live rate feed isn't evidence to them, it's a prop. They might point to a tiny, natural fluctuation of a few points in the IQD rate and proclaim it the first tremor of the RV, exploiting the fact that most viewers don't understand basic Forex market volatility, where micro-fluctuations are as normal as breathing. They might highlight a vague statement from an Iraqi politician about economic reform and weave an elaborate tale connecting it to a specific future date for a new currency value, a process known as date setting that has a perfect, unbroken historical record of failure. They often use language borrowed from legitimate finance, international clearance, asset-backed currency, global gold standard, stripped of context and repurposed to sound like imminent triggers. This content machine is self-sustaining because it sells a product far more addictive than any currency, certainty in an uncertain world. It offers a community, a shared secret, and the exhilarating feeling of being on the inside track of a world-changing event. The danger isn't just financial, it's psychological. It trains the mind to dismiss official sources like the IMF, the Central Bank of Iraq, or the State Bank of Vietnam as part of the cover-up, and to embrace unverified, anonymous intel as the real truth. This is the hallmark of a conspiracy mindset, and it deliberately isolates you from the very tools you need to make sound judgments. Your path forward, therefore, is not just about watching a ticker, but about cultivating a new literacy. First, source literacy. Bookmark the official websites of the Central Bank of Iraq and the State Bank of Vietnam. See where the live data feeds on your app are sourced from. The legitimate ones will cite CBI or SPB. Anything else is noise. Second, context literacy. A number is meaningless without its story. When the CBI adjusts its daily auction rate by 0.2%, research why. Was it due to regional oil price shifts? A change in import demand? This is the real analysis. Third, market structure literacy. Understand that the physical currency you hold in a binder is a fundamentally different asset from the digital Iraqi Dinar or Vietnamese Dong traded in the formal banking system of those countries. There is no digital gateway that will magically assign your paper notes a value 1,000 times higher than the notes circulating in Baghdad or Hanoi. The practical, logistical impossibility of such a global exchange operation for physical cash, with no precedent in financial history, is the most glaring red flag of all. The ultimate call to action today is not to check a new website or wait for a secret signal. It is this: become a student of the reality, not a follower of the rumor. Use these live rates as your anchor. Set up a simple spreadsheet. Track the official IQD and VND rates against the dollar for 1 month, alongside a major currency like the euro or British pound. Note their volatility, or lack thereof. You will learn more from that simple exercise than from 1,000 hours of guru videos. You will see the stability of the dong and the managed drift of the dinar, and you will understand them as functions of national policy, not characters in a treasure hunt. Then, make your decision from a place of empowered knowledge. If, after understanding the real economic contexts and the monumental odds, you choose to hold your currency as a high-risk, long-term speculative bet on the distant future stabilization of a nation, that is a conscious choice. But if you are holding because you are waiting for a live ticker to hit a specific, magical number you saw in a video, you are not investing, you are participating in a collective fantasy. The real wealth this situation offers is not hidden in a future exchange rate. The real wealth is the wisdom gained by navigating one of the most persistent and emotionally charged informational minefields in the alternative investment space. That wisdom, to discern data from delusion, to seek primary sources over persuasive narrators, and to understand the brutal, beautiful mechanics of how nations actually manage their money, is an asset that will appreciate in value for the rest of your life, no matter what numbers flash on your screen.